What if the stars we see are just a memory? And what if one forgotten melody could bring back a constellation lost to time? In a city where science has erased magic, a glassblower who captures starlight in glass must unite with a rational astronomer to decode a celestial secret before the night sky goes dark forever. This is the story of how two enemies became the only hope to rewrite the heavens. Stories that touch the soul stay with us forever. If you want more of these stories in your life, become a part of our cozy world. Subscribe to Velvet and Vice and gift yourself more sensual journeys in the videos to come. Sienna was a glassblower whose creations were as fragile and transparent as her own guarded heart. She lived in a city divided between a gleaming, steam-powered upper district and a crumbling, magical old town. Her unique talent was infusing molten glass with captured starlight, creating pieces that glowed with a soft, inner luminescence. It was a forgotten art, one that the progress-obsessed upper district scorned. Her life changed when she discovered a small, tarnished music box in the ruins of the old town's clock tower. It was cold and silent, its mechanism frozen with age. But when a stray shaft of moonlight hit its silver surface, it projected a single, shimmering constellation onto the wall, a star pattern that didn't exist in any known sky. Intrigued, she took it to Reese, an astronomer and cartographer who worked in the Grand University Library. He was a man of charts, equations, and cold, hard facts, who believed magic was a crutch for the uneducated. He dismissed her starlight glass as a parlor trick and the music box's constellation as a flaw in the metal. Their partnership was a clash of fire and ice. Sienna worked with intuition and heat, feeling the story the object wanted to tell. Reese demanded empirical evidence, poring over ancient star maps and mechanical treatises. During one of their heated debates, Sienna, in a moment of frustration, held a piece of her starlight glass over the music box's constellation. The light from the glass activated the mechanism. The room vanished. They weren't in the library anymore. They stood on a spectral balcony under a sky ablaze with unknown stars. A figure stood beside them, a woman in robes woven from what looked like liquid night, her hands moving as if conducting the heavens. She was Ariadne, the last star maker, a weaver of celestial patterns. The vision showed her despair as a great, silent fog, the unseeing, began to erase the stars from both the sky and human memory. She had poured the memory of the last, lost constellation into the music box, a final anchor against the encroaching void. The vision ended, leaving them breathless. The music box was not an entertainment. It was a dire warning. The unseeing was not a metaphor. It was a real force, and the fading of the stars in the old tales was a historical record of its progress. The modern city's reliance on steam and smog was accelerating it, literally blotting out the heavens. Driven by this terrifying truth, Reese's skepticism shattered. He now used his maps and charts to trace the historical fading of stars, while Sienna used her glass to amplify the box's fading signal. They learned that to reignite the lost constellation, they needed to find its anchor points in the real world, places where the veil between worlds was thin. Their quest took them through forgotten places, a derelict observatory where the lenses were made of Sienna's starlight glass, a subterranean river that reflected a sky that no longer was, and finally, to the peak of the city's highest spire, above the blanket of industrial smog. There, as a celestial event mirrored the vision, they worked in perfect sync. Sienna used her glass to create a lens, focusing the light of the remaining stars. Reese, using the music box as a guide, aligned it with precision. Together, they didn't just repair the music box, they became a conduit for Ariadne's last hope. The music box began to play, a melody of crystal and light. A beam of pure starlight shot from it into the sky. One by one, the stars of the lost constellation flickered back into existence, not just in the sky, but in the minds of everyone in the city below, a sudden, haunting memory restored. As the new-old constellation burned brightly overhead, Reese looked at Sienna, her face illuminated by starlight and the glow of her own creation. He no longer saw a purveyor of tricks, but a woman who held a piece of the cosmos in her hands. He took her hand, his touch no longer that of a cold logician, but of a man who had witnessed a miracle. The silence between them was no longer filled with conflict, but with a shared, wondrous understanding. They had not just mapped the stars, they had rekindled their light, and found their own souls in the process. Stories that touch the soul stay with us forever. If you want more of these stories in your life, become a part of our cozy world. Subscribe to Velvet and Vice and gift yourself more sensual journeys in the videos to come.